everybody, so today we are doing rational exponents and radical expressions. So the beginning of this is just like we were doing earlier in the year. So replace the inequality sign with an equal sign. So we're going to go ahead and write down we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Now, I want to find the zeros, roots, or x-intercepts. What is the meaning? Like, what am I actually asking you to do? I'm wanting you to solve this down. So, looking at this, there are different ways that we could do this. There's take out the trash. There is factor by grouping. But looking at this one, I think I want to take out the trash. So I'm just going to write off on the side, hey, I'm taking out the trash. So, taking out the trash means a and c, so 2 and 5, we want to multiply those together. So I have x squared plus 3x minus 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, so that equals 0. Now, what are my factors that multiply to give me 10 and add to give me 3? So this is a minus sign, right? So that means I'm going to have 1 plus and 1 minus. Thinking about this, numbers that multiply to give me 10, 5 and 2 do, so 5 and negative 2 give me positive 3, right? So I'm going to write those down there. Now, the last part, we got all our trash together. We need to actually take it out. So, taking out my trash, I'm going to divide both of these by that 2 that we multiplied by earlier. So we have 2x plus 5, because 5 doesn't divide by 2, and x minus 1 equals 0. So that is the take out the trash method. Now we want to do our sign chart and sketch a graph. Looking at this over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a dot at, well, if I were to solve these, that would give me negative 5 halves and a positive 1. So that tells me that I want to put a dot at 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 halves would be 3.5. So 1, 2, 3.5. So I'm gonna draw dash lines straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. Now my sign chart. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and erase this part right here, just so I have some space to do some work. Okay. A sign chart means that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to take both of my things that I factored, so 2x plus 5, x minus 1, and then my product. So I'm going to go ahead and write I have all three of those things, so 1, 2, 3, whatever's going to go out in the front. And then looking at this picture over here, where's my first dot going from left to right? My first dot is at 5 halves, or negative 5 halves. I'm going to write down that I have x is less than negative 5 halves. What is a number that's smaller than negative 5 halves? We could put negative 3. So that would mean that, or negative 4. So that would mean that this 2 times blah, 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 blah. This is negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. Now I'm going to take my negative 5 halves and put it less than x, which is less than, where's my other line at? It is at positive 1. So a number between those two. I'm going to go ahead and do 0. So that means this is positive and this is negative. Positive times a negative is a negative. Now 1 is less than x. Give me any number that is bigger than 1. We could put, I don't know, like a million. So positive, positive, positive. Okay, so going back over here, I just realized that I put this dot in the wrong spot. It should be 1 over the other way. So I'm going to put it right here. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so beginning, we said, hey, this one is positive, this one is negative, this one is positive. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and draw a line that connects all the dots and goes through all the shaded areas. So it should look something that looks like that. Okay, looking at this next one, it kind of looks like the one up above it, but it's in a square root. Thinking about square roots, what am I not allowed to take the square root of? a negative because it would give me I, and I don't want to work with I right now. So I don't want anything negative. So we need to remember that later. So I'm going to go ahead and write up here, can't be negative. Okay, so to begin with this, again, we're going to take out the trash. So we're going to multiply 9 and 16. So we're going to have x squared, not plus, minus 26x plus 144. Two numbers that multiply to give me 144 and are 26 together. Well, we have x. They're both going to be minuses. Okay. 8 and 18. Yeah, okay. Now we are going to take out our trash. So we're going to divide both of these by 9. I can't divide 8 by 9, so that means the 9 goes out in the front. I can divide 18 by 9, so it's x minus 2. Now I want to solve both of these where they equal 0. So this first one, if I solve that, it would be 8/9. And the second one would be positive 2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that just over here somewhere. So looking over here, we said our zeros were at 8/9 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 8/9, that's somewhere right there. So I'm going to draw a dashed line going up, dashed line going down. 2, 1, 2. I'm going to put a dot there, dashed line going up, dashed line going down. Now we are going to make a sign chart. So looking back over here, looks like we have 9x minus 8. I'm going to write down 9x minus 8, and then x minus 2, my product of those two. Okay, so looking back over here, we have our first dot at 8/9. So I'm going to say I want x where it is less than 8/9. So we could put 0. So that would give me a negative there and a negative there. Negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, now I have 8/9 is less than x is less than, where's my other dot? It's at 2. So to 2. A number between both of those, we could put 1. Well, that's going to make this a positive. This will still be negative, so this will be negative. And now 2 is less than x, so I could put 4 or 3. That means this is positive, this is positive, this is positive. So that means right here, I'm going to shade above. This one's below, and this one is above. Okay, now look back right here. We said this cannot be negative. We cannot get anything negative, or else it's going to give us something that just isn't not possible, but is imaginary. So what I'm going to do is look at this. This first section on the left, this is allowed. I can have this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw it in a different color. I'm going to draw, hey, right here, this works. I can't do anything down here, so I can either erase it or I can just draw an X through it to say, hey, this does not count. I do not use this part. And then right here, this does work because it's above the x-axis. It is positive. Now, what I want to do is write what my domain's going to be. So my domain is going to be, well, looking from the left, negative infinity all the way until 8/9. And I'm going to put that in brackets because it can equal 8/9. The other one, because we have two, we have a section that does not work. So we're going to have two separate domains going on here. The second one is going to be from 2, and I'm putting a bracket there because it can equal 2 all the way until positive infinity. I'm not asking for the range. I'm not really asking for anything else. I just want to know what is my domain. So do you know what these two lines would be called where it doesn't work? It would be called an asymptote. So my two asymptotes are at 8/9 and 2. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and for this first one, figure out what your zeros are. So find your zeros. So by that I mean take out your trash and then show or tell me what you would get. Okay, so we should have gotten 0 and a half. So looking at this problem, they both have x's. So I went ahead and pulled out the x. So I just had x times parentheses 8x minus 4. And then I just had to solve 8x minus 4 equals 0, which means x equals 1/2. Now that we have that, we can do it just like we were before. So I have 8x minus 4, and I have an x. I have my product. I'm going to go ahead and draw all those lines. Okay, and then down here I'm going to draw my axes. So we are sitting at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. So at a half, so a dot. Okay, so we're going to draw some lines that go straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. Okay, my first thing that I want to write in my sign chart is x is less than 0. So a number less than 0, I don't know, like -1. So that's negative, that's negative. That makes this whole thing positive. So that means, hey, I'm going to shade this piece right here. Now, 0 is less than x is less than 1/2. Let's plug in 1/4. That means that this is going to be negative, this is going to be positive, and this is going to be negative. So that means this down here, hey, that is negative. So we're shading in the bottom. The next one, I have 1/2 is less than x. So we can plug in, I don't know, 1. So that means this is positive, this is positive, this is positive. So that means all of this right here is positive. Now, which pieces do I actually even want to shade, or not shade, but do I want to show a graph for? Well, I don't want anything negative because I have that square root. So that means this piece right here would work. This piece right here would work. This one I don't really care about. It's not doing anything for me. So my final domain, we can write it over here. My final domain is going to be from -infinity all the way until 0. And then from 1/2 to +infinity. Okay, now I want you to try out this next one. So we should get our 0 as being x equals 3. There's not really anything else that we can do here. Now we're going to write that in, so 3 minus x, my product, I don't even have to put a product, but I can. And then figuring out what's going to happen here. So off on the side, we have a graph. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put a dot at 1, dash line going up, going straight down. So x is less than 3. So let's say it was, I don't know, 0. If it was 0, then that would mean this is positive, this is positive. So that means this side, we're going above the x-axis. 3 is less than x, so 4, 3 minus 4, that's negative. So that means that's negative. So that means this whole thing right here is negative. Now, I don't really care about this negative part, so I'm not going to count that, but I'm going to look at this side over here. So my domain is just sitting at -infinity all the way until +3. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here, and then we're going to finish up this on the next video.